Tremors. What can be said about Tremors? So I don't remember the exact first time I saw Tremors. I feel like it's just kind of a franchise that's been omnipresent in my life. The first time I really remember kind of the image of I don't even remember which movie it was, but I must have been maybe 4 or 5 years old. My parents and I were on a little vacation at a hotel in Cape Cod. I have a very specific memory of looking at the beach in the background through the window of our hotel room. And there was a little CRT TV up in the up corner of the room, just a really high little CRT TV. And I remember at night watching Tremors and being terrified just of the graboid coming up, eating people. It made me afraid of the dirt. I distinctly remember the next day after seeing it, when we went down to the beach, I was afraid of walking on the sand because there were graboids under there.
A graboid? Are you kidding? For real?
Tremors itself is not only one of my favorite movies, but it's also my favorite type of movie. Long story short, I feel like the common connection I see with movies like Tremors, it immediately comes around Eight-Legged Freaks being a big derivative. Attack the Block has elements of Tremors that I really like. There's a litany of other movies that aren't coming to mind right now, but just that type of movie where a small community, usually of normal people, have to overcome a supernatural situation. Not only do they have to overcome it, but oftentimes these movies involve learning the rules of the monster, creature, or threat, and the characters having to problem solve and find unique ways to get around the weaknesses and some of the the plot conveniences that they're given in order to survive the situation. It's a lot of problem solving, it's a lot of puzzle solving, and I'm someone who really loves puzzles, and I think because of that, these movies are really easy to put yourself into. It's very easy to be oh, if I was in Perfection Valley, how would I try to survive the Tremors? How would I get through it? And how would I which characters would I rely on for certain situations? Tremors came out in the year 1990, 8 years before I was born, 3 years before a little movie called Jurassic Park. And that distinction between those two movies is important because Tremors is the last movie, or the last kind of major film to really hit the zeitgeist of this type, this kind of genre film, monster movie that only relied on practical effects. There's some composite shots here, but there's no CGI in Tremors whatsoever. For the most part, if you see it on screen, it's real. And that's not me necessarily shit-talking CGI. I mean, CGI can be extremely impressive. Look at the Avatar movies, look at our more recent episodes on District 9 and Elysium and Chappie, which at the time of recording this hasn't come out yet, but it will. Practical effects are always going to hit closer to my heart for a variety of reasons. I mean, there's the psychological aspect from the viewer's perspective where for a fact that thing was real. That was there with the actors. The monster was actually chomping at them. The floorboards actually came up. It's all actually there. And the other psychological angle to consider when we're talking about practical effects in movies, especially these kind of monster movies versus CGI monsters, CGI creatures, is for the actors. I mean, you can tell when an actor is actually looking at a real creature, a real model. They're reacting to a real claw or a real fang that's actually coming at them versus looking at a tennis ball where Optimus Prime's head should be. And the movie can have the greatest actors in the world. It can have, you can have performers that are really good at imagining a thing, but you are just truly never going to get a real, raw, honest reaction to a monster actually coming at you. And that includes really tiny reactions, little facial twitches and reactions that you just can't get with CG. There's a lot that I personally love about Tremors as a movie, as a production. One of the things that I think really stands out is the characters and the quality of the writing amongst these characters. We don't necessarily learn a lot about them, but and they may be one note on the surface, but these actors and the writing just really brings out all sorts of really clever little details. I mean, immediately in the opening of the movie, you get the entire scope of Val and Earl's relationship. Everything from down to when one of them is looking for the cigarettes, one of them is looking for the lighter, and they each have it, down to, Val just pranking Earl early in the morning, and, the way Earl sits there all delicate with his legs crossed, smoking his cigarette. How they're talking about wanting to move up in the world.
You know how close I am to leaving this place right now? I'll call that little bluff. Not close.
Val and Earl are two handymen that live in Perfection Valley, and Perfection Valley is a small town. I think has a dozen or less people at the beginning of the movie before people start dying. The first 15 minutes or so of this movie is Val and Earl going to various different people in the community. You learn a little bit about each of them, just personality-wise. Like, Melvin immediately is just this shithead kid that you hate. Yet he has one of the more emotional scenes later in the movie when he's kind of freaking out about being scared of eaten by a graboid, and you realize, like, oh, he is just a kid, and you feel bad about wanting to see him get eaten earlier. This movie is full of all sorts of fun characters. Walter Chang has a lot of fun moments. Miguel is a really likable character, and how are we going to make a Tremors video without bringing up Burt Gummer? It is very clear from early on, not just in this movie, but the second movie in this franchise, that Burt Michael Gross is the heart of this franchise. He's very much a caricature of a certain type of American, a doomsday prepper, conspiracy theorist, gun nut type of guy. And this first movie especially does a good job at making fun of him for that, but you can tell, like, beneath the surface he's stressed out, but beneath the surface he's so happy that this situation is happening. He feels so validated in a situation like this happening. And this franchise, especially the earlier entries, are smart enough to understand how to make fun of this character, but also show the heart. I think Michael Gross's heart and the likability of Burt Gummer really shines through. Part of what always brings me back to Tremors and what makes me recommend this movie, and every time I watch it, I always just remember how much I love it, is the themes. The themes are really powerful. Which the core of it I always think is just relying on your community, knowing your neighbor, being there for one another. This is a small community that's far away from a whole lot of civilization, and people, simply put, have to look out for each other. They have to know what's going on. And when you see the same people every day, you go to the same market, maybe you go to the same coffee shop, you build this sense of community. And when these extraordinary situations happen, you have to rely on each other. And I think that Tremors and movies like Tremors really showcase that in a powerful way that I always love to see. And it's something that I would love to implore in my own films one day. Last thing, touching on the sequels to Tremors, there are 7. Yes, there are 7 Tremors movies. There are 4 that are quote unquote I consider like the originals. When I was a teen working at FYE, I had the Tremors Attack Pack DVD box set that had the first 4. Tremors 1's the best. Tremors 2 is a lot of fun. I think just the best of the sequels. 3 is okay. 4 is a little better. I have seen all of 5 and I've seen half of 6. As far as like the new era, I think 5 has a lot of fun things. It takes place in Africa. We're going transcontinental. Burt's great in it. 6 I had a hard time going through. I want to finish the franchise, but I'm not gonna lie, Tremors 6 made me question if movies were good or not. But I don't know. I will check them out one day. Maybe it'll show up in a future episode of Midnight Movie Gang. We'll see. But yeah, thanks for watching, and stay off the ground.